Good afternoon. We just concluded the Foreign Affairs Council, and there were many important issues on the agenda and had very good discussions. So first, on Ukraine. Russia's bombing campaign has reached record levels, and we see increasing use of banned chemical weapons by Russia in Ukraine. All this shows that Russia does not want peace. And in response, the EU is set to approve one of its toughest sanctions package against Russia. So I'm really sad that we didn't reach this agreement today. I must say that we were really close to reassure Slovakia. The Commission has delivered what they asked for. Now the ball is in Slovakia's court, and we must get this deal done. It has been already 2 months. Sanctions are necessary to starve Russia of the means to wage this war. And the European Union will keep raising the cost, so stopping its aggression becomes the only path forward to Moscow. We welcome President Trump's announcement to send more weapons to Ukraine, although we would like to see US to share the burden. America and Europe are working together, and if we are working together, this can put the pressure on Putin to negotiate seriously. The only way to get Putin to end this war is to force his hand. And last week also brought some other important commitments. We had the Rome Conference for Reconstruction, and this conference pledged 10 billion euros to help rebuild Ukraine. And the reassurance force will help Ukraine defend itself against any future attack of Russia. The message is very clear. Russia's efforts are wasted. Europe is wholly committed to Ukraine. Then the second big topic we had, of course, Middle East. So last week, Israel and the European Union reached an understanding for the expansion of the humanitarian aid into Gaza. So we see positive signs. We see more trucks and supplies are reaching Gaza. We see more entry points opened. We also see electricity lines being repaired. But Israel needs to take more concrete steps to improve the humanitarian situation on the ground. The European Union will keep a close watch on how Israel implements this common understanding and the pledges, and will update the compliance every 2 weeks. As we go forward, ministers make clear that ceasefire and hostage release deal remain a priority. At the request of the European Council, I also presented ministers an inventory of different measures that could be taken in relation to the review done in June. So we had a discussion on this, and these are choices that the member states have to make. We will keep these options on the table and stand ready to act if Israel does not live up to its pledges. The aim is not to punish Israel. The aim is to really improve the situation in Gaza. On Iran, ministers reiterated that Iran should not have any nuclear weapons, and that diplomacy is the best way and long-term approach to achieve this goal. While the ceasefire is fragile, it offers an opportunity to resume the negotiations, and ministers urged immediately to restart the talks and allow also the United Nations inspectors back in. So the European Union is ready to negotiate. On Georgia, the assault on democracy by Georgian Dream is growing more severe. Today, ministers took stock of EU support to civil society and discussed different options. What more can we do? These include suspending the visa-free regime, the association agreement, and sanctions. Georgia's democratic backsliding will come at cost. And finally, Moldova, the first ever Moldova EU summit was earlier this month, and it underscored that the European Union is fully committed to Moldova's EU accession. Moldova is now preparing for very high stakes parliamentary elections coming in autumn, and these polls will be a prime target of Moscow's hybrid war. So today we had a good discussion on that, and today ministers also agreed to impose sanctions on people and entities that aim to destabilize Moldova. We also agreed to deliver more counter-hybrid support, especially before the elections. And this shows that the European Union is determined to safeguard Moldova's democratic process against external interference.
So what happens with the sanctions package now? I'm reading a tweet from Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, which says that the Commission is giving them insufficient guarantees, nothing in terms of what they want. He says something that he wants is an exemption from the REPowerEU plan to stop all energy imports into the EU, to fulfill their contracts with Gazprom until 2034. So is the Commission willing to grant concessions in this long-term REPowerEU plan to get this sanctions package over the line, or what happens from now with the package?
These negotiations have been ongoing for quite some time, and as you see, the Commission, the President of the Commission also sent a letter to Prime Minister of Slovakia, reiterating all the things that were really addressing the concerns that they had, and so far it seemed okay. So I don't know what happened in between, probably something in domestic politics, but it is important that we stick to these points. I mean, if you go into negotiations or worries you have, then if your sensitivities are addressed, then it's I think it's important that you don't present anything on top of it. But at the same time, when I'm saying this, then we have 27 different democracies with 27 different public opinions and oppositions as well. So we need to navigate in that process. But I'm still hopeful that we will get the decision tomorrow.
From your point of view, how reasonable this request of Slovakia? This first question, and the second question, maybe you discuss the possibility of usage frozen assets to pay for American weapons and to send it for Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's not up to me to assess whether requests are reasonable or not. It is every Prime Minister comes from their own political situation and worries that are domestically there. So I wouldn't give my assessment, and it doesn't matter anyhow. I mean, the requests are there. When it comes to your other question was, yes, exactly. It is clear that we need more and more funding to stop this war, to Ukraine defend itself, and also to really help Ukraine to defend itself. Now, we have very different views on the frozen assets between the member states. So we have agreed to have a discussion on frozen assets only in the Gymnich format that we have in August with the ministers, because it's important that everybody hears everybody's arguments.
I just wanted to ask you to expand a little bit on the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine. Is that coming from your own information sources? You're getting that from the Ukrainians?
This on the chemical weapons. This was the information from the Dutch and German intelligence on this, that they are using the chemical weapons, and of course that it's intensifying, and it's actually public sources as well. I mean, the Minister of Defense of Netherlands has published this. I will not read it out, also the details there, but it was also surprising for me to hear that since the start of the large-scale invasion in 2022, Russia has carried out more than 9,000 chemical weapons attacks on Ukrainian troops. So that's quite significant, and as these intelligence services are saying that this is intensifying, then I think it's of great concern.
But in your introduction, you said that you welcome Donald Trump's initiative to on the weapons to arm Ukraine, but you want the US to share the burden. What do you mean by that? Can you explain that a bit more? You mean that you don't think it's right that the US is just asking Europe and Canada to pay for all of these weapons?
Well, if we pay for these weapons, it's our support. So it's European support. And we are doing as much as we can to help Ukraine, and therefore the call is that everybody would do the same.
Madam High Representative, if I look to the agenda, we are in the summer break now. No next FAC until October, means that the Palestinian, hundreds of Palestinians could be killed then. So my question is, as the agreement is not fully implemented now, which guarantee you may have soon to let know the Israelis that there are some leverage and instrument should be activated? And I understood that there is no instrument in your hand today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, of course, it is important, the implementation of the agreement. And yes, we see some worrying signs, but we also see some good signs. I mean, like I said, the border crossings have been opened. We see more trucks going in. We see also reparations of the electricity network and such things, but it's clearly not enough because the situation is still untenable. Now, we agreed that this briefing, I mean, our people are constant contact with the international actors on the ground and also Israel, also the neighboring countries that are, having the control of the crossing points so that they can say what is the actual numbers that are going in. And we agreed that we are doing this via the PSC ambassadors. So every 2 weeks they get updates what is the situation on the ground. Now, the only guarantee we have is that the inventory of all the options that could be taken by the member states is presented. And if, the situation is not going to improve, then the member states are also willing to take next steps, because the goal is to improve the situation, because it's really untenable, the humanitarian situation. I mean, we reached this common understanding the end of last week. Today we are in Tuesday. We also heard from our Jordanian counterparts that yes, it's more aid going in, and we see some positive signs. And of course, we need to do more. That's very clear, and we keep on monitoring this. But we do this hand in hand with our international counterparts who are on the ground, like the World Food Programme and who are there. What I want to stress is that why is it much harder right now than it was when there was a ceasefire? Because the war is going on. Also the providers of humanitarian aid are actually at risk. So that's why it's so much more complicated. But we are really trying to, we are putting the pressure and keeping the pressure, and all the member states are really following up on this.